Every day I'm hustling, 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 hustling. California.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life I've been grinding all my life.
All right, let's get one thing straight. I'm not here to argue. I'm just here to educate y'all.
Educate? Is this coming from the guy who still types www before every website on his phone like it's 1999?
Anyway, Bam. Hey, fam, welcome to the channel. This is just a father and son tackling literally everything. No topics too big, too small, or too ridiculous. Conspiracy theories, dating shows, sports, why millennials think email is some formal communication.
Really? Whatever, man. Anyways, subscribe if you like hot takes, dad jokes, and two generations barely tolerating each other for internet clout. Also, let's get one thing clear here. We have new episodes whenever we feel like it.
So, this episode that we feel like recording, we're going to be talking about Love is Blind. That's right, the newest episode, Season 8, The Reunion. Cam, what do you think?
So, I mean, just on the overall season, I mean, it was pretty good. I thought there would be, more legit couples, but it was a pretty good season overall. A little less diversity than other seasons, but it's cool.
Yeah, that's for sure. They had so many. It was crazy how low the diversity was compared to other seasons. I agree with that 100%.
It kind of speaks volumes about Minnesota. Well,
it's not going to get any better because you'll find out at the end where the next season is going to be. So it's probably not going to.
Oh, I know. I saw that. I've been there. I just visited recently in August, and yeah. But I mean, Aurora has some, color to it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Aurora's right next door to Denver. So. But yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. Up first, when we open up the episode, we're going to be talking about the one successful couple that made it through, Taylor and Daniel. Let's just watch a quick clip, see what their life is like now that they are married.
For sure.
So what do you think? Look like a happy couple. What are your thoughts on Taylor and Daniel?
Honestly, I to be totally honest, I thought in the beginning that maybe she wouldn't have found him that attractive, when I first saw them in the pods. And then, because it's happened a lot on other seasons, women and men that didn't find the person attractive that they matched with, and, sometimes it does prove that love isn't blind, but, it can be, because in this case, I feel like she actually went full-fledged into it and realized he was a good guy, And I think then she was like, okay, like this can actually work out. And then also he seems like a provider, and women love a good provider, and so he seemed like he could, he had a pretty decent job, and and was doing well financially. So she was like, let me settle down and let's do it. So I commended her for that, because I'm like, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not really attracted to him, so I'm not even going to give it a chance. But she did. So, and I think they're a great couple for sure.
Yeah, they definitely look genuine. Short King season is in.
I see.
At the beginning, he had kept talking about his height.
Yeah, I'm 5'8".
Not all women gonna want a guy that's 5'8". Come on, they just not gonna be the one for me. And he was like, Short King season. I'm like, he ain't gonna find nobody.
Well, I mean, just in case anybody was wondering, I'm 6'1", Pop's 6'2".
I always have one up on you no matter what.
Yeah.
Especially in music.
Yeah. What, bro? Run DMC is wild to me.
We're not gonna get into that right now. We all know where it all started.
Whatever.
We'll talk about that another time. So now I was a little surprised at how quickly Daniel went out and got a tattoo. I'm like, y'all been married a little bit less than a year. He had already got a tattoo.
Yeah.
It's just her eyes, though. It's just her eyes.
Oh, I saw that, and I was like, that's good, because I told Mo that. I was like, hey, that's good. You can actually say that's anything. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that was just my eyes. I thought it was cool. Yeah.
So, unfortunately, fam, we don't like all the happy endings. We like to see them, but we don't want to talk about them for a minute. What we really want to talk about is drama. So what we are calling the rest of this segment is angry woman season, because is angry, and you can see it in the looks on their faces.
I would call it no accountability season, because the accountability in that room was lacking tremendously.
Got that right. Yeah. So it's angry women and it's guys not taking accountability and trying to lie their way out of stuff.
Yeah, and not just that. I'm not even saying just because the women were the main ones not taking accountability, because there was only maybe, I think, one guy on there who I was like, yeah, he was really messing up. You know, so well, maybe two. Like, you know what I'm saying? What's long haired guy's name? What's his name? Joey. Joey, he popping at castmates, and he, come on, bro, like, you doing too much, you know? And then the other one who was telling so-and-so, who's it, Dave? No, you my number one, and you my number one, and like everybody my number one. Yeah. You know, y'all all starters. Ain't nobody coming off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we'll definitely get into that clip. That clip was coming. But let's talk about the next couple that came up. That's Virginia and Devin. Okay. Now, we talked about this before. You know, we kind of had different ideas for Devin. You had a certain idea about Virginia, which, you know, I agree with some of them, but I kind of felt Brittany would probably been a better choice in the long run.
Hold on.
Brittany, you're right. I want to get that right. Well, what was her nickname?
I forgot.
Oh, man, it's like B Buckets or I can't remember what it is. She had another nickname. He liked that. You know?
Yeah. She was
they're still good friends. They're still good friends. All right, so the host asked Virginia, once we saw you sign the prenup, thought everything was good. You know, what changed your mind? Let's take a look at the clip and let's see what Virginia said. All right, so what did you think about Virginia's flip?
Virginia bothered me.
Exactly.
Virginia bothered me. And just because, like, I'm not going to say what his views are. I'm not going to repeat that as if he said something just so terrible. And then she's like, but I'm going to tell you what I am and, you know, what I believe in. I 100% support LGBTQ. I 100% support abortions. And that's fine. Like, for me, you can support what you want to support. Not a problem. But it's like certain things just don't align. I personally don't feel like if you have strong Christian values, it aligns with LGBTQ or abortions. Like it just doesn't. Like, you know, so don't try to portray this, I do make my decisions by my faith, but then you're choosing something that goes against the faith that you're talking about. Yeah, so it was just kind of like
to be living by. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then to try to bash him, you know, and just make him seem like he's just some terrible person because he doesn't believe in, you know, gay marriage or he doesn't believe in abortions. You're allowed to believe in what you want to believe in. Like, you know, like there could be somebody that does her like that. Like, ew, you believe in that? And try to make her feel less than for believing what she believes in. You know, and that's not right. So
what I didn't like was what you said. She said, well, I'm not going to say what Devin's views are. But she already said that our views didn't align. So basically, by saying what her views were, they're basically telling us what Devin's views are without saying what Devin's views are. So I think that was definitely a little manipulative, you know, of her to do that, to try to act like she's not trying to throw him on a bus, but at the same time,
1,000%.
Yeah, so
1,000%. I agree.
Now, Devin had his own views as well. So let's take a look at this quick clip of how Devin's view of the relationship was. So what did you think about Devin's views?
I agree. Like, you don't have to agree on every little thing in a relationship, you know? But, I mean, I do understand some people who are like, you know, we're going to go to the polls and vote. You're going to vote Republican, I will vote Democrat. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I mean, you could, but it's just like, I understand because it does, like, core values do kind of go into politics, you know, like your core values as a person. Yeah. And so I can see why somebody might be like, well, if you're voting for that, I'm not going to, you know, this isn't going to work out, you know, especially if you are a person with somebody in the LGBTQ community that's really close to you, you know, or something like that. And you feel like this person's going to take away certain things from them, or this person's going to, you know, I get it. You know, I get it. You might not feel that way. But I also believe that people can come together that have different views and work out just fine. So,
yeah, that's 100% sure. I think what you're really going to see throughout this whole episode, fam, is that we just see a lot of people that are not trying to throw people under the bus. And then we got another group of people, women, that are saying, I'm not going to throw you under the bus, but still throw you under the bus. That's
yeah.
what we're going to see.
That's usually what happens.
And it could be the guys, not really expressing how they feel and not wanting to look at it in a bad light when they're on the show. So I'm just going to act like I'm this nice guy. I know we're not seeing everything. We only see what they record. But all we can comment on is what we see. Yeah. And since we don't fact check anything, who knows? We'll see.
I'm going to have to start Googling some stuff on you.
So now one thing that I really want to get into is just these signs that Virginia had. So take a look at this clip. These were the signs that Virginia said she came up with as to why she thought this marriage wasn't going to work right up leading to the wedding. Let's look at it. So basically, after we see this clip, we basically see that Virginia is saying there's three reasons why, or three signs that she saw why it wasn't going to work out. She's talking about the letter, she's talking about the check, and she's talking about, what he did on when she was trying to celebrate his birthday. Now, when it comes to the letter, when I first heard that, just as you saw the faces in the audience, I was like, that's a little bit weird. But then when I heard his explanation, I was like, well, that kind of makes perfect sense. And so at that point, I'm like, you know what? Virginia already knew she wasn't going to be with this guy. She didn't want to be with this guy.
Yep.
So I need to start stacking up reasons because everybody saw me how in love we were. They saw me having to make him sign a prenup and all this stuff. And all of a sudden, I'm going to say no at the altar. I'm going to look like a villain. So let me start stacking up all these reasons to make it look like Devin's the reasons why I had to call off this marriage. What are your thoughts, Cam?
So I'm sorry that I have to mention something a little later that happened, but I feel like, if you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. The same women that would agree with Virginia feeling that way about that letter will be the same women that defended, was it Lauren? Is that her name? Mm-hmm. That would defend Lauren for literally having a sexual relationship with a guy 2 days before she goes on the experiment. So the same women who will be like, oh, Virginia's right for being mad about a letter from a woman that he dated in high school that has a whole nother man and they're not even together. And you know what I'm saying? Like, will be like, but, he has no right to be mad that she was sleeping with somebody 2 days before the experiment. So for me, that's what I mean by the accountability thing. Like, it's only men have to take accountability because you know what I'm saying? Like, and so I feel like she really blew that out of proportion. Like, that was way blown out of proportion, Yeah. Now the check, same thing, blown out of proportion. Same thing
to me. You ain't said yes yet. You ain't said yes yet.
If it really, now the third thing, if it really happened the way that she said it, that's the only thing I would say that'd be like, bro, really? Like, you know what I'm saying? She's like, oh, why can't you just get it yourself? And you could have got that yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Like, with the present, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that's the only thing that I would have been like, okay, I understand. But still, that's something minor.
Yeah, that's something minor. You talk to him about it, he's like, okay, I'm good. I got it. It won't happen again.
Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Like, so, but, the other two things weren't major to me. He doesn't have to tell you about this check. You guys are not married yet. So why is it such a big deal? He didn't tell you about a wedding gift. A wedding gift comes after the wedding, not, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I need to tell you about, no, you might not even want to marry me. And I'm going to tell you about this wedding gift for what? Yeah. For what? So,
so she can come back and say, oh, I deserve half of that $500.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like, come on, bruh. Like, cut it out. Like, it's not that serious. So I feel like she was overreacting, like you said, like she was trying to find a reason. She was really trying to find a reason, and I feel like she was smart the way she went about it, because in past seasons you've seen people who maybe didn't like the person from the beginning and they treat them bad during the season. And so now she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna be nice, I'm gonna go through this whole episode and this whole season, I'm gonna be cool with him, act like we're possibly gonna get married, but I've had reservations from the beginning, and then once we get up to the altar I can say no, I'm good, and then now I don't look like a bad person, and then I'm gonna come up with some stuff to make him look bad, stuff that would, it's such a big red flag, so people can be like, yeah, she's right, I would have been like, no, too. Like, if you really wanted to get married, those things were so minor. I've seen so many bigger red flags on other seasons. Like, if you really wanted to be married, come on, bro. Yeah. You would have just married the man.
You just can't come out and say, you know what, I just decided I wasn't that attracted to him. It's like people, now you might see people that are going to be mad at you, but at least it's the truth.
Yeah, exactly. At least you told the truth. Like, hey, I just wasn't
and trying to make Devin look bad and when he didn't do anything wrong.
So you saw they brought AD on at the end of the thing, right? So have you watched all the seasons?
No. You know me. I was a big married. I'm a big married.
Married at first sight guy. Okay. So I've watched every season of Love Is Blind. So AD was on the season before last, if I'm not mistaken, or it might have been last season.
He was on UK. He was on UK.
No, AD is the girl.
Oh, AD is the girl. I'm so okay. My bad.
The other guy was on the UK. The guy she was with. So AD is the girl.
Okay.
And so she was on the season, and she had a guy. I forgot his name. It was like Marcus or another guy, right? Mm-hmm. And he basically was like the whole season, he like kind of treated her bad. He had a baby mama, so she found out in the middle of the season that he had a baby, or right at the kind of the beginning of their honeymoon, that he had a baby on the way. You know what I'm saying? That there was a woman that was pregnant, and he acted all like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I didn't know this. And personally, I feel like he knew it, but he treated her bad. But by closer to the end of the season, they were doing one of those interviews, and he was like, oh no, I'm tripping. I am tripping. You know what? I think I'm getting married at first sight and Love Is Blind confused, because the guy I'm talking about is Married at First Sight. But AD, she had a different guy who was actually, he worked. Yeah. I'm tripping. So it wasn't the baby mama. The guy didn't have baby mama. I'm tripping. I went through a whole story about some shit that didn't make no sense. And people are going to be like, what the hell are you talking about?
That's what we do.
So I went through a whole story of
coming off the dome, no script.
Bruh, and so AD was on last season, and she was with a guy who, who kind of acted like he was, attracted to her, kind of, and of course they slept together and stuff, and he liked that, but he wasn't really giving her time off of camera, so he like worked a lot, and so like he would like be out of town, for work, and you know what I'm saying, like things like that, and times when he could have probably came back, but he didn't. He just stayed out of town. And and so he kind of dissed her a little bit, and I feel like it was because he didn't find her attractive, so, but he kind of treated her bad, and I was like, you could have treated her a little better, and so I'm glad to see that she found the other guy who's going to treat her good. It was great, I felt like that was a good part. But
those are real red flags, all that stuff that Virginia brought up.
You know what I'm saying?
If you really care,
exactly,
you
he was there. Exactly my point. There was much bigger fish to fry when it comes to a marriage than those little things. So come on. Sorry, I just went on that whole rant about nothing for 5 minutes, and then kind of reeled it in and brought it back.
We're gonna get the producers to edit that out. No,
the producers.
So that's enough, man. That's enough garbage. I have more to talk about Virginia and Devin, but I think we done beat them to death. So now, one thing they did bring on this reunion was they brought out this thing with the top 5 most unforgettable moments.
Yes.
Love Is Blind.
Yes.
I think we're going to highlight about 3 of them during this episode with us. So check out this clip of number 5. We're going to see where Jimmy got Megan Foxed. Check this out.
Oh, shit.
Megan Fox?
Bruh. So, I don't know, you probably didn't see that season, but
I saw that part though, because I'm my wife and my daughter-in-law, they watch it, so they did me and say, look at this girl trying to say she looked like Megan Fox.
Bruh. So look. So he had 2 choices. It was her and the girl named Jessica, if I'm not mistaken.
Which we're going to see at the end.
Yes, everything. And so look, those are his choices. I feel like the girls get to see each other. I feel like I forgot, I don't even know her fucking name, but Megan Fox chick. Mm-hmm. I feel like she knew damn well that Jessica looked a million times better than her. So she was like, how am I going to get him to, you know what I'm saying? So she's like, hey, everybody look like a celebrity, And he's like, oh, yeah. She's like, oh, I always get one, one in particular, just because of my dark hair and my eyes. And she's like, I think MGK, I think it's the MGK, is she MGK's wife? But you don't know who Megan Fox is, but you know who MGK is. You don't know who Megan Fox is, but you know who MGK is. Wild to me. Wild. Right. That's how right there, I knew you brought that up on purpose, because now he's going to be like, oh, and you're not supposed to be talking about your looks.
Yeah, exactly.
First of all, on the show.
Exactly. I'm surprised they didn't kick her off the show when she did that.
You know what I'm saying? Not
I
supposed to be
think they
doing
saw
that.
the comical value, though. Had she really looked like Megan Fox, they may have kicked her off the show. And
You know what I'm saying? They was like,
they knew it was going to be a big
oh, this is going to be good. Like, bruh, right? That's how you know, because the producer saw her and was like,
and knew that the other girl looked more like Megan Fox than she did.
right? You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. And so, like, yeah, when she told him that you're going to need your EpiPen, I was like, yeah. Especially considering who you picked. I can see if you picked another hot chick, but you picked her, and then now you're going to get to see her. Oh, motherfucker. I know he was like, wow, she was right. You know what I'm saying? Because she was a pretty chick. Like, you know, she was pretty. Yeah. And so it was like, and then also not to mention, I don't know if she was playing the role or if she really is that nice and sweet, but she was very nice. And like, usually women that are that attractive are not that nice. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, especially ones that know they're attractive, they're usually not that nice. And so I was shocked. Like, I was like, she's a really nice chick too, and like, oh, he's gonna look terrible, and he looks terrible the whole rest of the season.
Everybody's talking so bad about him.
yeah, like, you know, but even her, because I'm like, you said Megan Fox, wild to me. Like, oh, it was
crazy how these girls try to play this. I like watching the guys, like, they don't talk a lot in their pods. You know, I'm not saying that they don't try to. They do most of their manipulating in the pods with the, you know, when they're actually in the pod with the girls, not in the living area with the guys. Where the girls, they manipulating on both spots. They manipulating in the pods. They're manipulating the other girls when they're in the living quarters. Because unfortunately that's just what women have been taught to do, to compete against each other.
Yes, and it's been a biological thing since the beginning of time, when, you know, men would pick women to mate with, and it's like, which one is going to be the woman he chooses? Yeah, you know, so yeah, and they got to compete. It happens. But you know, they say women are the prize. You know, wild.
It can't be if you get the right one, like me, dog.
I heard those wedding vows. Yeah, we know who the prize is.
So Ben and Sarah, so that's the next one we talk about. Kind of boring, you know, but they did have a few issues that we definitely want to talk about. Sarah basically started falling into the same line as Virginia. Oh, it was because of his political views, his background. I don't know if I could be with him because of that. But that really wasn't what it is. It was really, I think, it all came from that TikTok. So let's look at that clip of about what she says about the TikTok. Yeah. So when this whole TikTok thing came up, even in the episode, I was like, I mean, she was saying stupid stuff like, why would a girl who you ghosted be getting this mad about? Girls do crazy stuff like that all the time. You see it on the internet all the time. So I understand why she was asking that. And when not just the guy that you used to date is on a show like this and know he's on there, of course you're going to try to get on the internet and make yourself known, because you're going to get famous. So that's how, and she knows that. Sarah knows that. So she was basically just like Virginia, looking for reasons. And that TikTok, okay, let me pull up into this TikTok and, and see what's going on.
See, I don't think she was looking for reasons. Personally, I think, well, you know what? Yeah, to a degree, because I think from the beginning, like, I think that they're, like, even in the pods, like, I think she said yes just to be on the show because, like, your views already didn't align in the pods. He told you that he's church guy and stuff. You were, for some reason, were so concerned with BLM, which was wild to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even when she talked about it, she was even saying, like, I mean, I'm not, like, really big into it, but those things that matter to me, like, kind of thing. And it's just like, I mean, I understand, but, like, even me, like, if I got with, a woman and she says she doesn't know much about BLM, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, well, I could never date you because you don't know much. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, you don't care about it.
I can educate you later, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But, so I kind of agree with you, because I was almost going to kind of but when I really think back from the beginning, she always was trying to find something. They go to church. She looked mad in church. How you gonna be mad in church? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you're in the house of the Lord, you in there mad. At least, try to enjoy it or have like, no, I want a church that believes in gay marriage. Like, okay, what kind of hybrid church are you talking about? Like, I don't understand,
Yeah, it happens a lot. There's just quiet things like that. But like I said, like I really do feel that she was looking for a reason. I do agree with you that she said yes to be on the show. Also, I think she said yes because she did talk about some other things. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. I do think she said yes. She wanted to see what he looked like. Now, had he been out, I'm not saying Ben is not attractive. I mean, he looked like to girls, you know, he could be attractive. But if he would have been like drop dead gorgeous, she'd have been okay. We can get past that.
Yeah. Or maybe she found out he had a lot of money. Like,
or found out he was like crazy rich or something like that. Yeah,
he's
sure.
like, oh, he got bread. Like, you know, like, oh yeah, exactly.
Sure.
There was a guy on last season who was leading with his money every date. He talking about the money he got. Like, you know,
and like he probably didn't have no money.
No, he did. He really did. He
Okay.
came from a family with money, so like, like money wasn't a problem for him. But what ended up happening to him is that he found a girl, and then basically they were like, "Oh, well, if we don't do the," she was like, "We don't do the show. Can we still like go to Miami or something like that?" And he's like, "Yeah, you know, we could do that." So they ended up both not doing the show, but they went to Miami. You know what I'm saying? And then came back, and then that was it. They went to Miami, hung out, and then that was it.
Yeah. So Ben did have a few things to say, kind of what happened after the pods. So let's kind of get into that. Let's go and take a look at this clip. So, you know what stood out for me from that video was Virginia's annoying ass head nods. Every look on her face like, yeah, I agree with you, girl. That's the other thing you see through this whole episode. Like, the guys are fine with having their own opinion. If they believe it, they're fine with it. They don't need every other guy to agree with it and be on their side. This whole thing is, and I told the girls and they agreed, and I told my family and they agreed. Everybody's like, Eric, girls always have to have everybody on their side to back them. They can't just say, this is what I believe, this is what it is. I don't care who believe it. You know, they just have to have everybody on the side. It's crazy. I don't know where that comes from. Maybe girls, if you guys want to comment, the women in there comment, tell me why is it that women feel that way? You know, give me a woman's perspective. It would be really, really good to know. What are your thoughts on it, Cam?
I mean, honestly, if that's what he really did, if he really like was like, yeah, we're gonna be together and I'm gonna be out there, and then he just didn't show, you know, just go, like, I would feel like that was wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, really? Like, you know, you just go, like, you gonna get this girl hopes up and y'all supposed to be moving in together, y'all supposed to be doing this, and then she moves out there to do that, and then you just like, nah, and then you unfriend her and then send her a message like, this ain't gonna work out. So you waited for her to leave? Like, you could have just did that when she was there. Like, that's cowardly, you know? So if he did do that, that was definitely a little cowardly.
But he comes back and said, because, I mean, of course, when you first hear that, you're going to think that. And then we don't have a clip of it, but he basically says, you know, well, after the talk, we did talk about it. We said all that, but then the talk that we had Friday night before you left, it was clear to me that you broke up with me. Of course, we don't have a clip. He doesn't go into as deeply, you know, as
and women do that. They'll literally, y'all got plans and it's supposed to be great, and then she break up with you and then get mad because you didn't keep the plans.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Because you didn't keep trying. You didn't keep trying.
Like,
exactly.
Hold on, you didn't try to get me back, motherfucker? Like, you know, yeah, exactly.
Or come back and say, oh, we were just on a break.
Yeah, right? Ross, Rachel, like, for real. It was just a break.
So now, basically, the reason she was bringing that whole thing up was because she basically said, now I can see why that girl felt the way she did, you know, when she says that Ben ghosted her, or like, he was so upset. You know, there was probably more to the relationship, and he cut it off, and she had no idea why, and it hurt her feelings, because I was her, you know, she said it came, but Ben said the reason he does that, you know, is because when he's in a relationship, once it's over, he just, the best thing, I'm going to cut you off for this, cut you off, he just cuts you off. That's the way he heals. That's the way he gets over it. A lot of people, they try to heal by talking to the person that hurt him. He's like, no, the way I heal is by completely cutting you off and healing on my own with my people. I don't need you to heal me. You're the one that hurt me.
Yeah, to a degree. Like, I can understand that to a degree, but it's just, but I mean, also, I'm like, if there was any inkling that you guys were still going to be cool, which obviously was, because it seemed like even after that, you probably were still kind of cool with her after that. So you didn't really fully cut her off. So it's like, because if you would have fully cut her off, they would have said, we ain't talked since that day, and that was it. But they talked after that, you know? So I'm like, yeah, obviously that's not how you heal. I feel like you were just kind of being childish, like, I'm just gonna block her on everything. I don't know, that's stuff that women do. Like, I've never been the guy that me and my girl are arguing, or we're like, I don't do you no more, then I just go block her on all my stuff. Like, that's what women do. Women go do that. You know what I'm saying? They'll get mad and block you and delete all your pictures, and I don't do that shit.
They block you and then stalk you anonymously so they can
you feel me?
And you can send you text message. You know? I saw you was doing this and such and such.
No, for real. No, definitely.
Yeah, Sarah tripped me out with the whole, well, you said you were hurt, but you were out drinking with your friends. You said you were crying at home when you're not. He probably was crying at home a little bit, upset. You drink, you talk shit. That's what you.
I don't think he was crying at home. That's just me. I don't think he was crying at home.
Yeah. And they said, if you're crying at home, call me. Like, why am I call you? You the one I'm crying over. Why am I so you can make me cry more. I can make you feel better about yourself because you're making me cry. Oh, I ain't doing that shit.
And honestly, to be real, coming from a guy who has cried before, over a relationship in the past, it has happened. And so I'm like, I don't want to go out. I'm not like, I'm gonna cry right now, and then I'm gonna go out an hour later. Honestly, if I'm crying, I'm sitting my ass in the house. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go out. I don't want to be around nobody. Now, of course, if I wasn't crying and wasn't that serious, I'd be going out. Whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, like when you crying or you upset like that, you ain't trying to go be around people and partying and like, come on, man. But you're right. Some people deal with emotions differently, but yeah, I damn sure wouldn't.
Yeah. And the last thing that she brought up was the reunion questions, basically saying that he had talked to a cast member and they said to, we need to practice your reunion questions, make sure you know what's going on. And we're going to see that's the theme on here because it's crazy how many couples say that they talk for a little bit after they. And
then we talked about 2 weeks before.
And we didn't talk about the whole year. And then we started talking 2 weeks before. And the reason that you're talking is because the reunion is coming up and you want to get your story straight. You
don't want to make each other look bad. Yeah, no, real talk.
Exactly.
Real talk. So I agree with that.
Yeah, let's look at this clip of when Ben and Sarah are talking about the reunion questions and kind of how they viewed it. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. I think it's crazy how she's like, well, yeah, I thought it was ridiculous. And all the girls here thought it was ridiculous. And all my friends and all my family back home, they got to have the whole world behind them, to show that they're right. Instead of just saying, this is what I believe, this is my truth.
See, for me, that's a red flag. You're telling me that the stuff that goes on between us, you run and tell everybody in your life? Like, that's a red flag. That's an immediate red flag. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree.
100%. So,
because if a man did that, a woman would view it as a red flag.
Yeah. So we're going to the next section here. We're going to title this section, He's Not Interested in Me. We're talking about
with Joey. Yeah.
So let's take this first clip of kind of how Monica viewed the relationship, which I didn't see it in the thing, but we don't see everything that's recorded, but I didn't see it. But let's take a look. So you see, Monica felt that Joey was not interested. She didn't see it during the episode, during the recording. I didn't see it when I was present. I thought when they first met in the pods, when they first saw each other the first time, I thought that was a little bit over the top. They were like, oh my God. They were just like real over the top. It was kind of annoying. But then in watching them be together, with the producers decided to show, to me, it looked like, I saw genuine interest on both sides, but she said she didn't see it when she watched it. What'd you think?
First of all, she got about 3 shades darker from the season till now. That was crazy to me. But as for him not being interested, I agree. Mm-hmm. He didn't seem very, they weren't very affectionate with each other. And now they didn't show a lot of them. Did you agree
while you were watching it, or are you agreeing now that you're hearing her say it? Or could you tell why you were watching the season?
Honestly, I didn't. I should say now that I think back about it, she's she's right. I can't say that when I was watching it, I was just like, oh yeah, for sure. But I was just about to say it's because of the clips that they show. Like they didn't show like a lot of them and a lot of their inner workings. It was kind of like just when they were out doing stuff, or some seasons or even some relationships, they show a little more of the inner workings, and so you can see problems arise in certain areas. But I mean, for me, I thought they were pretty cool together. Yeah. But the only thing from the beginning that I kind of felt weird about them is that they were really giddy when they saw each other, and they were just so like, oh my God, yeah, man, oh my God, can I kiss you? Oh my God, like that. Like, I don't feel like they ever got down to the core of the relationship. It was just like, I'm happy to, have a person that I just met. It was just that they never fully got into each other. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm gonna ask your opinion on this, Cam, and audience, y'all feel free to leave your comments as well. It is crazy to me how many men they find on these dating shows, whether it be this one or Married at First Sight. It's only really the two that I watch, that will come on a show, be in a relationship with a woman who is not unattractive. Maybe not your exact type. They may not be the one that you would want to, and they will be with them, sleep in the same bed with them night after night after night, and then expect us to believe that the guys are the ones that are saying, I don't really want to do anything. I don't want to touch you. I want us to, really get to know each other better. I think we should save sex for later, that kind of stuff. I mean, she's not unattractive. I mean, she's not, gorgeous, whatever, the different scales, beauties, everybody's, eye of beauty is different, but I just can't see him sleeping in the same bed with her every night and not one night just feeling like, yeah, we should, because she obviously wanted to.
Yeah.
That's why I think sometimes they're faking about these relationships, especially on Married at First Sight. All these guys that are saying, no, I don't want to have sex with you. And we see
now look, so certain ones I can see, but you're right. Certain ones where the woman is like, okay, bro, certain ones I can understand, because there's certain ones where I've seen, even on Married at First Sight, whatever, I'm like, I can see him not sleeping with her. I can see.
There's not one that I've seen. Dude, a guy will sleep with if a guy is horny enough.
But you got to understand, it's different.
Sleeping in the bed with the same woman.
It's different when you're on the show.
And she wants to. And you just going to say no for 2 months?
Well,
come on, Cam. And you in your 30s? Come on.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you to a degree, because so if I was on a show like this to where we're getting married, or you know what I'm saying, and I don't, and to me she's really, not that attractive, I'm just I might be I don't really want to take it there, because I don't want you to think that it's that serious. You know what I'm saying? I am that kind of guy. So I'm I don't want you to think that this is that serious. And if we do that, you're gonna really think that I'm for sure. And I don't like, hurting people like that, to where I know for a fact that if we do this and, we get passionate like that, you might hate me after. And I don't like people to fucking hate me after. You know what I'm saying? And then it makes you look bad in the public eye, because now you're on a show, and this is seen by millions of people. And so now you're right, with certain circumstances I might be all right, but there also are certain circumstances where I'll be nah, I can't do it. And then also, not to mention, they may not say something. It might be something she got body odor, or her breath stank, or you know what I'm saying, that are turnoffs for men, where you so it could be. So I'm not saying every single one is like that, but it could be. It could be. It's a possibility.
I just don't get it. I don't see it or don't get it.
We see where your mind is at, sir. What's
that? What'd you say?
We see where your mind is at, sir. We can tell.
Yeah, you over here trying to act like you don't know guys at all, and I'm just.
Well, no, I do know guys. I'm just saying that I don't find it impossible. And you're making it seem like it's impossible, that would never happen, when it can. A man might be nah, I'm cool. And like I said, it's all about the attraction and certain things. There might be somebody that, I might find attractive that another guy might not, or you might find attractive, another guy might be not really my type. So
you sleeping in the same bed with a woman for 2 months. You seeing her naked. You seeing her go to the shower.
You can't say that.
Not one time. You can't. Not one time. Not one time. Or you gonna see her and be oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'm feeling good tonight. Let's do this.
Hold on. You don't have to see them naked. That's not necessarily true. You know what I'm saying? Girls could go in there and do everything in the, it don't have to be that kind of relationship.
If the girl is the one that's interested and the guy's not, she's going to make sure that he sees her naked to try to turn him on. Even if
okay.
Because she's trying. And that's the ones that kill me. I can understand when they both don't want to do it, but when you have the girl that's just trying and wanting to, and she's on you and she's showing you affection and, probably, touching you and, in some other ways, when it's not on camera and trying to turn you on, I just don't see guys saying no for 2 months.
He said for 2 months, I can't do it.
I just don't see it,
so you're saying that's impossible?
nothing's impossible, Cam. But I'm just saying there's so many of them on these days.
I know. I agree with you.
It was
I
like
don't
one
believe
every
that all
couple
of
of
them are
seasons.
like that.
If it was every
I
couple of seasons, it's like, yeah. So
I don't believe everyone like that. Like, honestly, I would say, 80% of them are lying. But there's that 20% of them who might have actually done it. So I agree with you. Like, I don't believe it's just like every single one of these motherfuckers is like, oh, no, I never. I don't want. Of course not. You know what I'm saying? Men are men. I understand. But I'm just saying that it is possible. Like, it is possible. It's a little rare, but it can happen. Like, especially on a show like there's a lot of pressure. Like, there's a lot of pressure on a show like that, And also some of these guys, like, they come on this show sometimes, or even the girls, and they got somebody at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? Where they're like, I'm here for the show. And so I'm not going to ruin what I got at home by y'all seeing on this show what I just did. It's happened.
Yeah. Now, that part I can see. If you got somebody who's coming on here for the show and you're like, well, if I find somebody who I think is better than the person I got back at home, then I'll do it. But if I think better, I'm not going to ruin what I got at home.
Yes.
No, we ain't doing nothing. But I'll get my clout from the show. I can kind of see that. I can kind of see that.
1,000%.
Yeah, I'm not talking. Yeah, but anyway, 90-10.
I know what you mean. Outside of that,
90-10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to that, so let's look at this clip here of when Monica and Joey admit that they have been physical. He said, "Don't get it twisted. It was just once." That was just crazy. Again, he said, "Don't get it twisted. It was only once. It was
one time." Now, for a fact that a man don't really like you when he specifically has to make sure you didn't say y'all did it too many times. Like, just so you know what I'm saying? Like, it was once. Like, yeah. It's kind of proved her point that he didn't really like her.
Yeah, that had her. And when she watched that, I don't know if she saw his facial expression. She was looking right at him when he was like, "Oh, no, I don't know," but yeah, that's gonna feel funny when
he said we did it one. Like, basically, kind of like it was pity. He gave her some pity dick. She was begging, and I might as well. Like, one time. Gosh,
yeah,
we've all banged an ugly chick once.
It was funny through this whole episode when you see people's facial reactions.
Yeah,
and not knowing if the other person can see it, but when they watch back the replay, they're definitely gonna see it. So the last thing we're gonna talk about when it comes to Joey and Monica is who's lying. So we're going to play this little clip here, and let's see if we can figure out who you think is lying.
Gotcha.
So what you think about that? Who's lying?
I think she came on to him. I think she did.
Yeah. Somehow he felt that she came on to him.
Sister.
So.
Or, he could have been making it up to, I don't know, for some dumb reason. But it's possible. Exactly. Joey seems like a little bit of a liar.
Yeah, they definitely get caught in some stuff, and they get those looks on their face. You can tell when they're trying to explain their way out of it. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think because I'm just trying to figure out like why would he say Monica was coming on to make her jealous? We did just cause contention. Like, I don't really at this point at that point when they're done and everything. Like, why?
Or to make it, they were already done too.
I believe at that point they were.
Well, it could be to make himself look good. Well, she was coming on to me and I turned her down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was passing up bitches for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes, I'm 100% sure. But I, as I always say, I always think there's a little bit of truth to both sides. But on this one, I think I'm falling more on Monica's side. I think he was lying.
Really? Okay.
I think. Yeah, I think what happened, and if we didn't have time to watch the whole clip, but there's a part of the clip when they were like, well, why did this even come up? And then he's like, well, Monica felt that I have feelings towards, Madison, but I didn't, I want her to know that I didn't have feelings. So maybe he's trying to say, well, she was coming on to me, but I didn't do nothing about it. Like it had nothing to do with me. This is all her. So maybe he was trying to back that up and kind of say some things he didn't mean to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Possible.
can see that. So that is it. I guess the last one note I'll say at the end of that, the whole section with Monica and Joey, I just laughed when she said, so going forward, we'll just be humans on this earth living together. I'm like, wow, it went from love to we're just humans on this earth living together.
It be like that. That's crazy. And it's usually the women that feel that way. Man doesn't really care. Usually women are the ones that I never want to see you ever in life again.
What you say in the words of Kane Brown? Sometimes it be like that. You got a song that says that.
Oh yeah. See, obviously nobody knows those words.
Yeah, everybody, probably more people know those words.
You know what's funny is that he came to Fresno last night.
Oh yeah, he was. He started in San Diego. He was in San Diego. The very first concert for this tour was in San Diego. Then the next night it was in where I saw it in Ontario, and then then he's up in Fresno.
Did you have fun?
And we had a good time. Yeah, we had a really good time. And it's crazy because he just finished his tour for his last album like in November.
Yeah.
And now he's got a new album out, came out in January, already out on the tour for this one. But his wife and kids travel with him. So
wow.
Well, because they're little kids now, they don't have to be in school or nothing like that. So they all travel together. She comes out and perform because they have some songs together. She has some songs, so she comes out and performs.
Wife sings too.
I mean, she's not like a really known. She's just mainly known because she's his wife. Like she wasn't like she was a known country artist, and then he came out and he was known. They got together. She's just gotten a little more ability to perform but she can sing really well. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, so. The highlight of the entire season, we got 2 foursomes to talk about. Not threesomes, foursomes.
Wow.
And the first one is Dave, Lauren, and Molly.
I mean, for me, if that's the closest person to you, I understand, so you want the people that are closest to you to like the person that you're going to be with, of course, it makes everything a lot easier. And so I understood, him having concerns. And, I mean, for me, I was on his side the whole time, even when he was against himself and apologizing for no reason. I was on his side in this situation the whole time. So,
I was the opposite with him. I think I started on one end, kind of leaned towards him, and then went back to the other side. When he first started on the show, and I think we talked about this in previous episodes, I could tell that he kind of had a jerk attitude and kind of like, and he even said it, he's like, where I work, everything is just all about body, because he works at like some aesthetics place, doing butt lifts and just things to all different types of augmentations. And he's like, that's all I see all the time. So I've been really shallow most of my life, always about looks, and I haven't had the greatest integrity. And he was always cracked these little corny jokes to kind of put women down. Like he would walk to a date and see like, okay, so what's wrong with you? And like, what? And then he's like, he was like, so I just kind of felt like he had that jerk vibe. But then he started to kind of get more on the sensitive side, and it seems like he started to grow a little bit. And then when Molly Gate came out, Molly Bootygate came out, and Booty Call Gate came out, he kind of went back to the other side, and that's why I leaned back towards him, kind of being a jerk. Like, anyway, but yeah, but it's just crazy how much he mentions his sister when you see it in the montage.
So now I agree. So I was just talking about in his situation with him and Lauren. That's what I agreed with. Like I was with him the whole time. But yes, at first he was a little cringy. You know what I'm saying, with some of the stuff he was saying and things like that at the beginning of the season, and in the pods. But you're right. Once he was out, I felt him to be a little more mature. Like he definitely had matured up a little bit, and I think that's really him. You don't just mature up in a couple of weeks, but I think he kind of breaks the ice, or deals with nervousness by cracking stupid jokes. So I got that part. I'm like, okay, it's kind of breaking the ice. You're a little different, understandable. But then like I thought him and Lauren were going to be a good couple until Lauren.
Molly Gay.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. I kept on saying Molly. Lauren Gay. I don't know why I was saying Molly.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into that here in just a second.
Okay, let's do it.
So let's watch this next clip. We're these next 2 clips where I guess Dave seems to get some clarity about the whole situation. So let's go to this one. So when I heard that, I was like, well, for his sister, 2 reasons his sister could have felt that way. The first one was she knew it was not going to be hard for him to be seen in a bad light. Because it wasn't, if you yourself, when you act how you act, and I see you all the time, you're going to be looked at in a bad light. Or she watches the show and she kind of knows what the producers do with certain people with certain type personalities. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, I can kind of agree with you, and I don't think it's in a bad way. It's just like she knows that her brother has a certain sense of humor, so she knows it might come off a certain way. Or
exactly. That's what I meant.
I'm pretty sure people feel that way about me. Like you might be looked at in a bad light with your sense of humor and the way that you speak or the way that you talk, because sometimes I do just say some off the wall things.
No, man, no, you don't. What are you talking about? Never.
Yeah. So like I understand that too, though. Like I get you don't want your family member to be seen a certain way and be all online being talked about and stuff like that. So which is definitely a reasonable thing.
Yeah, but in the end, it's like really, but that much. But anyway, that was a situation. But as you mentioned before, there's another thing we want to talk about. We want to talk about Lauren Gate 2.0. So there's a certain point when the show was over, where he reached back out to Lauren and he found some clarity on that whole situation. So let's go and let's see if this changes your view. So by the way, fam, so Bam and I have two different views when it comes to this whole Lauren thing. He's on the side where Lauren was wrong, on the side where I don't really feel like she did nothing wrong. Let's see what everybody else thinks and see the clarity that Dave got in this whole situation. So what do you think about his clarity?
Oh, wait, where do I start? So for me, there was no clarity needed. Like, there was no clarity needed. Why would you want to put a ring on somebody's finger, that a woman's finger that likes to have fuck buddies? So these other dudes got to, not even a commitment of boyfriend, like got to have this woman's body and have her in the most intimate ways with no actual commitment. But then now I'm going to put a ring on it for life when she likes to have fuck buddies? Like, insane to me. It just makes no sense. Like, and you were with this man within the last week. I say 2 days, but within the last week before you coming on the show. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let's get this one last fuck buddy session in before I go try to get married. Like, come on, bro. Like, who wants that? Like, usually, like, a man is a provider and things like that. And that's what women look for. They want a man that provides. They want a man those are usually top qualities that a woman wants in a man. And a man wants a woman who's not easy, like who's not having fuck buddies. Like normally, not saying everybody, but normally that's what is wanted, So I'm like, bruh, made no sense to me. Made no sense.
Basically, what you're saying is that you don't think she could be faithful or be good to him because in the past or right before coming on the show, she had somebody she hooked up with, a friends with benefits situation is what she called it. It wasn't a relationship. We would just have sex when we both wanted to have sex. You don't feel that she could then turn around.
For me, it's character. It says a lot about your character. And so that is one thing I would be nervous about, because you're able to get intimate with somebody without really being committed to them. So that means that you could easily step outside of our marriage or our relationship because you're accustomed to that. Like you want a woman that's kind of hard. You got to get to know her. You got to do all these things, because then if you put a ring on that girl's finger, most likely the next guy's going to have to go through a similar thing to try to get her, and that's going to take too much time and it'll be a lot harder. But if you're with a woman that you yourself slept with on the first night or something, you're not going to be like, but she's going to be faithful to me and she'll never sleep with a guy on the first night ever again. Like, it's just like, I don't know. Like, it's kind of hard for me. Like, it's definitely kind of hard for me. So I'm like, it's kind of like, so for example, it'll be like if, let's say a man and a woman are dating, and like I said, men are providers and protectors, and let's say there was a situation where a man didn't protect a woman. A guy comes up, starts starting shit or something, maybe hits the woman, and the guy does nothing. The guy runs away. Would she trust that this man could be a protector the next time that if she's like, oh, I'm going to marry this man, I want to be with this man, and I'm going to trust that he will protect me, when you just saw an instance where he wouldn't protect you? Like, that'd be something kind of hard to do. So that's how I kind of view it on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Protector, provider for men and women that aren't super promiscuous. So it's like, I'm saying for a wife, and I'm not down any woman that does what she does, but I don't think you can do both. Like, I don't believe there's both. Like, either you want a long-term relationship and you want a man, or you want to be very promiscuous and be a fuck buddy to somebody. Like, right. Yeah.
So just to be clear, you're basically saying, just so that all America that's watching this show, you're basically saying that if a woman does not only have committed relationships, you would not want to be in a relationship with her because you feel she could never be committed to you if she's had non-committed sexual relationships in the past. That's what you're saying.
I would say majority. Like so, for example, like, you know, if we're
talking about majorities. Nothing's all. We all know nothing's all.
And I'm just saying everybody's done some. Let's say it's a woman who's like, man, I had one night stand one time. I was drunk. It happened. Whatever. But a woman who's comfortable with having a fuck buddy, like just consistently like that, then yes. Like, yes, I'm not saying a woman can't, you know, make a mistake or something happens, you know, but if you're going on having multiple one night stands or you got these different fuck buddies and stuff, then no, you know, like, I'm not saying that just because a woman did it once or whatever. It's, you know, no. It's usually the pattern of behavior. Yeah. Like, and having a fuck buddy is a pattern of behavior. Right. Like, that ain't your first ever fuck buddy. Like, and you like in your 30s, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you done did that. Well,
so you definitely want to make sure that you keep a hold of the woman you got now. After America sees this, you're not going to get another one. So you're
100% right. That's fine with me. Or I'll get a woman or it will be somebody who doesn't want fuck buddies. Like,
you are not going to find. You are not going to find a woman in their 30s going into 40s that's single that hasn't been out there a little bit.
Well, I mean, the thing is that, I mean, if I don't know about it, I don't know about it. That's one thing. Another thing with a woman, if you don't know about it, you don't know about it. Like, you never can really, you know, guarantee unless you've known the girl since she was younger, you know. But if you meet a woman, y'all both in your 30s, you don't know what she did in her past, you know. But that's the difference, that he had to find out from his family knew, and he knew who the guy was, and you know, like that kind of stuff. That's what made it so bad.
But now you see that he was manipulating because he knew the shit was on the show, and now he learned that this guy was not telling full truths. Not saying that, because remember what we talked about before was you were talking about, well, they were like in a relationship, you know, and he was trying to say that they were in a relationship, and Lauren was saying, no, we were not in a relationship at all.
And see, that's the thing, is that makes it look worse. Like, you should have been like, yes, we were in a relationship. You would have looked a lot better. Okay, that was her boyfriend. Cool. But she was, but that's also love. You ain't really
ready to be married. If you're in a relationship and then you coming on Love Is Blind, like that even shows more commitment issues. Like you telling me you were in a relationship where you were committed, and a week later you're on Love Is Blind and you knew you were coming on Love Is Blind. So it goes.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I feel you on that too. I understand that. But see, for me, like I said, like her being like, I don't want to, maybe, I don't want to be with this guy because of this or whatever the case may be. Maybe she had her foot out the door on this guy, and then she went and fucking signed up for the show, happened to get on it, and now she's up out of there. But at least it was her man, not her just sleeping around with a guy she don't even give a fuck about. Like, that means you can have sex with no feelings, and that's scary when it's coming from a woman. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of men who can. Like, men can have sex with no feelings and don't really care. Not saying that all of them can, but you know, a woman that could just be like, nah, I'm good with no feelings. Ooh, that's scary.
Well, let's see if everybody else agrees with you, Cam. Let's watch this clip.
They don't.
Let's see if everybody agrees. Let's watch this clip. Guys and girls alike. Lauren Gate is not really a scandal at all, Cam.
Right there. That right there proves my point. She knows that what she did wasn't something to be so proud of, because her grandma watches the fucking show, and she knows her grandmother wouldn't want her doing that and just sleeping with some random guy. But yet, he's supposed to be okay with it. Like, he's supposed to be like, yeah, it's cool. Like, but you know, you wouldn't even want your own grandmother to know that you were just sleeping with some guy, just being friends and just randomly having sex with people. Like, you know, so that right there literally proves my point that she knows it's wrong, but there's no accountability. She's like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. I knew the whole time. And no,
I just don't want my mom and grandma to know.
Exactly. And if you don't want them to know, that's because morally, you know it's wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so that means there's something wrong with your morals. And that's a fucking problem. Like, you know that's wrong. And so it's like, yeah, for sure. Like, honestly, do you think a guy, so for example, if it was the other way around and the guy had a friend, do you think he'd be like, oh my God, my mom watches this show? Or like, oh, my grandma, she's going to know I slept with a girl. No.
That's because of the double standard between men and women.
I know.
Women are supposed to feel bad about it. Guys aren't.
There's a reason for the double standard. Like, come on. Yeah. Just like there's a double standard for men and women when it comes to having money. Women don't ever get classified as broke. Oh, she broke. Like, no. Men get classified as broke.
They don't give you this, oh, that's a negative thing about them. Like, as long as she's attractive, she got a good personality, got this, she can broke all she wants.
Never the fact that he's broke. Thank you. True. That's the thing. So So, and the thing is that we actually have to work for that. Men, we have to, as men, we have to work to get money. A woman is born with a vagina. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're born with their looks, like, and the stuff. You know, like it's easy to work on your personality. Like, you know how hard it is to make $1 million. Like, you know, like, come on.
Yeah, for sure. Now,
America's gonna hate me.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%, 100%. They're probably gonna hate both of us actually, but in the long run, but we'll see.
No, I'm gonna take the shadow off of you. They're gonna think you're a good guy because of how terrible I am. You know.
So you talked about Lauren's character, her morale, her moral.
Her moral compass.
So, Dave didn't have a lot of much character either, and I thought this was actually going to be a bigger deal, and I think that if Lauren and Dave would have made it and said yes, that this would have been a bigger deal. So let's see where Molly, who's the fourth wheel in this foursome, comes in and calls Dave out for some of his lack of character. So I thought this was going to be a bigger deal because there were so many times where she came into the women's quarters and said, "He told me I'm his number one."
Yeah.
Lauren would go back into a date with him, be like, "What the hell? I don't get," And he said, "I never told her that. I don't know how she got like." And I'm like, dang, if he picks Lauren and they showed us back, you're gonna clearly see that you told Molly that she was your number one.
I'm surprised they didn't really show that on the reunion like that.
Yeah,
they didn't really show that clip. I'm shocked. Usually they're messy like that and they'll show it.
I think maybe if him and Lauren would have worked out and they were together, they say, "Here, let's create something," and they may have done it at that point.
Yeah,
I mean, by that time they had already saw it because the other episodes were already out. They had already saw, but I mean, he said it a bunch of times. He's almost as bad as Madison, who we're going to get into. Playing Mason and Alex against each other, and then trying to act like she didn't do anything wrong. But we'll get into that. So, what were your thoughts on the big Dave lie?
You talking about that one? The one where?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Because you saw the parts where he clearly told Molly that she was his number one, right?
Yes, I did. I do remember that.
Yeah.
He was messing up because I was saying that when I was watching them in the pods. And I was like, "Ooh, I hope this don't come back to bite him on the reunion." But because I noticed it. I was like, "Yeah, he's been telling both of them. You my number one. No, I mean, you've been my number one since day one.
Yeah, since day one. He said
since day one. You know what I'm saying?
He told Molly that you were my number one since the very beginning, and then I don't know really how much time, but it seemed like it was maybe a half an hour later. He's in the and said, "You're my number one, and you've been my number one since the beginning."
Yeah,
crazy. That was crazy. All right, so that's going to put a bow on the foursome of Dave, Lauren, Molly, and the sister. Let's go into our final foursome of the season, and that's going to be Mason and Madison, Meg and Alex, and how all this. It really just goes to show you that all four of them ended up hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a big foursome to show, it's like the longer you take to pick who is your number one and say, "This is my person," the more people are going to get hurt, and you're most likely going to end up with nobody.
Yeah, that's
the ones that make that choice within the first 2 or 3 dates, like, I'm just going to go for this person all in, and if I don't get them, then I'll have nobody. The ones that, like, I'm going to try to play both sides because I want to make sure at the end I have somebody, those are the ones that end up getting hurt and end up with nobody.
Yep.
And that's definitely what happened to all of them, which was a little bit surprising to me on this one. Let's watch The Love is Blind, number 3 most unforgettable episode. And even though this is my first season watching Love is Blind, like the whole thing through, this I actually did see because I told you my wife and daughter-in-law have watched it all the time, and I actually did see this part. Hilarious as heck. So let's go ahead and check this out.
And at the end of close to the end of the season, when they had a conversation in person, and she told him to kick rocks and flip flops. Is what she told him.
Kick rocks and flip flops.
She did. She said, "Kick rocks and flip flops." Is what she told him.
The look on his face, like he was so confident at the beginning, and then he's like, Oh damn!
Oh yeah.
Right, we do share a location.
Oh fuck.
And actually, he tries to. If you watch the whole, I'm sure people have seen the whole episode. But after he actually still tries to explain. Like they just make it seem like she said that, and then she said, "I'm done." But there's a whole section where he tries to explain. Oh, that's right. Like I drove her home, and I dropped her off, and I came back over here, and I was talking with people. I had forgot it.
Yeah, he was over there at Sarah Ann's, nigga. Wild.
Crazy. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was wild.
So now let's take a look at what we mentioned, how Mason and Alex felt dating Madison in the pods.
Wild. Wild. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and she just continued. Every time it's brought up, we're going to see as we go more and more of these videos, every time she just turns into a victim, and tries to flip it around on somebody else.
Every
takes time. Well, everybody was dating multiple people. There's a difference between dating multiple people and basically treating both people like they are the one that you're going to choose, and then and choosing one and leaving the other one high and dry, so they can't go out and make somebody else their number one.
Yep.
And even though we'll see in some of these other clips, but yeah, I definitely see how Mason felt that way. Now, when watching, I could see that she would say a little bit more to Alex, like she's probably going to choose Alex in the end, as long as he chooses her, and Mason was like that going to be the number two if it didn't work out with Alex.
Yeah.
But once again, when you're doing that, leading them both on, and until one of them picks you, you're going to end up with nothing. And of course, we all know that's what happened to Madison. That's what happened to all of them. Dude, let's go to Super Meg to the rescue. This part was very funny to me. Watch how she comes to the rescue of Mason against Madison. This shows the hate that she has for Madison.
Oh yeah, because they're dating, huh? Yeah, they're dating.
Again, I'm not contradicting anything, actually. And she goes off into a whole nother rant, about.
Oh, I know. And she starts crying and shit. Yeah, I know.
Close to it. Yeah, close to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. She just said, she will not take accountability for that she did anything wrong, that she played them both against each other and against both along. But
I do
everybody else to take accountability.
I do believe her about Alex, though. I believe her. I believe her about Alex.
About which part? About him talking shit about the rest of them?
He be talking about them behind their back and shit. Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
Sure. Yeah,
hell yeah.
I believe that.
Just the emojis he was sending and shit. Like, boy, you over here playing. Yeah, I see what you're doing, sir. Yeah. Nah.
Let's get into that. Let's so there was we'll skip past the one where Meg said she got screwed over. We'll watch these last two. So now we go to Alex's view. So it's kind of funny how Alex, now we know in the end, Madison was expecting, came into the that meeting, everything was out. She was expecting Alex to propose. Yeah. And then we know Alex didn't. Everything was in there like he had told the producers, I'm going to propose, had everything in it, a ring, everything was all ready. And he changed his mind. And I thought he was crazy for doing it. I feel now he definitely dodged. I think they all kind of dodged big missiles, because I don't think they were all all right for each other. But he definitely dodged a bullet with Madison, because basically he said that he didn't choose Madison strictly because he asked her a couple of questions about, I just don't want to go into a relationship where there's going to be disagreements, there's going to be arguing. And Madison was like, well, I mean, I can't promise you that we're never going to, we'll never disagree, and he's like, that's concerning to me. I'm like,
what? Like, he's basically like, you need to just say I'm right all the time. I don't want to hear shit from you. Shut the fuck up.
Like, if there's going to be any kind of arguing, if you have any kind of attitude, like, this is not going to work out.
You say anything about what I say or I do, problem. Oh, shit.
That was funny.
Yeah.
But, so as we all know, Madison was all mad about the Mason thing and everything going on. But Alex, we'll call this video, but you got me. Check this out.
Why are you making? Because obviously, like, this is what you wanted, right? You picked me. I proposed, like, the whole shit.
But he didn't. Like, that's the thing. The thing is, he didn't.
Oh, okay.
He didn't propose. Remember, he went into that last date thinking he was going to propose, and then when she would not say 100%, like we're not going to argue, he was like, yeah, and he ended up not proposing to her. So they all ended up with nobody. So I didn't understand what he meant by "you got me." It's like, well, I didn't get you or Mason.
Yeah, no, that's real talk. That's real talk. It's like,
but you got me. But he said, but you got me. Why are you so upset? But what are you talking about, dude?
Hey, she got him. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Now, I mean, she did get him to the point. I guess what he probably was referring to was the point where they both had said, like, we're boyfriend and girlfriend now. It's me and you. And he got the pause. Okay, I got my number one. This is my number one. And she just knew after a couple more dates he was going to propose. So I guess that's what he meant by "you got me."
Yeah.
But I know she died that she could have had Mason. But anyway.
No, real talk. Yeah,
that was pretty funny. I thought that was crazy.
Yeah, that was funny. It's fun.
But as we all know, Madison was not going to let that go. And so I'm gonna need you to pay attention to what we're doing here. I'm gonna need you to get off your phone, okay?
I'm not on my phone. I'm waiting for you to put this clip up. No. Wow.
I'm all about pulling out the receipts, but like you better read all the text messages. Don't just try to do the little context ones that you want to hear. I want to hear everything you said after too.
Everything.
When you was talking shit about people.
For real.
but they didn't show that text. But he said, "I'm just going to go back to saying nice things only about people." I'm like, oh, shouldn't that kind of be what we generally to begin with? If you're trying to say you're this good guy,
I was talking shit for a minute. I'm gonna go back to being nice again.
Yeah, so I could definitely see how they were all kind of jerks. They were all, nobody was accountable for anything. Mason not taking accountability, Alex not taking accountability. Definitely the only person that was really not at fault, and I hope Meg, because she said after like 2 dates, like Mason's him. I'm all in Mason. If it's not Mason, it's nobody.
Yeah,
that's how you get that. That's how you make it on there. You got to pick somebody and go with it, and don't try to pick 2 or 3 and try to see who's going to end up at the end.
That's true.
So that wraps up the season, Cam. So what do you think about the season in general?
I think it had its moments. It for me, I mean, it's so messed up because you want to see drama, but it actually didn't have as much drama as previous seasons. Mm-hmm. Like it was actually very minimal. The biggest drama was Lauren and Dave. That was probably the biggest drama. The other ones were, minuscule, and so it's like, it was okay. It was okay. Honestly, it wasn't it might have been like probably the worst season out of all of them, but it was okay. I don't know. I like the other seasons better. There was a lot of good stuff on other seasons. So
yeah, now I'm a little bit iffy on the next season. Next season is in Denver.
You need to go back and watch like some of the previous seasons so you can see the references.
There's no context. It's not like seasons lead up to other seasons, so I just got to see what the next season is. Going back to watch other seasons is not going to be like, okay, I need to keep watching. Like, I'm going to watch after this season. We're going to see what happens in Denver. The reason I say I'm not sure about Denver is because the last season, not the current season that just finished, but the season before of Married at First Sight was in Denver. And them people was crazy as hell. They had a hard time finding me because they was all crazy. I don't think you haven't watched that. Have you watched the Denver season of Married?
I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, because I think they're like 2 seasons behind when they put them online.
Yeah, to watch. It is. It's like a year or 2. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, but the season that's just finishing right now, it started off boring, but then there was 2 things that came out in it. They're like,
did you see the
last 5 or 6 episodes?
Did you see Nashville?
Oh yeah, I watched Nashville. Yeah, I did. Yeah,
that one was. I watched Nashville. That one was cool. I think that's the last season they have on Netflix right now. I think
after Nashville was Denver, and then they're just finished up Chicago.
So then, that means Denver's probably about to come out now.
They had a lot of very eccentric people in that are just, everybody on there was just different. Like there was no just like normal, straight up, they very, very, very weird folks in Denver. You'll see. But what do we have to watch now? We do have to watch the number 1 most outrageous moment of Love is Blind. Let's watch number 1.
Oh, hold on. Get me back on the screen. So I personally, when I first heard that, it only sounded like she was bigging up herself, but I feel like that was a shot at Megan.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. 100%.
That was a shot at her because she know what she looks like. She's like, you picked her. You were about to be bugging out when you see me. Like you about to lose your shit, motherfucker. You might go into a seizure and die. Like,
now I don't remember because I've seen those parts, but I haven't watched the whole episodes. Did Jimmy end up with the girl that said she like Megan Fox, or he ended with nobody?
No, he never heard. They went.
Okay.
Yeah, she was annoying as fuck. They kept getting into stuff, and it was she was super annoying, and like he also wasn't into her, so it kind of and especially once he saw her, like it was like yeah, like it really.
So they didn't say yes at the altar then?
No, hell no.
Oh, okay.
I think that they quit before they even got to the altar. They quit the show before they even got to the altar. Gotcha. Yeah.
And then the funny thing is, the host on here, right after that video clip right there, came back and said, "And Dave, that's the guy you were taking advice from."
Wow.
Because Dave talked about in this reunion that there was somebody else that he was talking to, and it says, "Oh, you need to prepare for the reunion," and all this. He was getting advice from, and he wouldn't say who it was, but of course, the girls they don't care. Sarah's like, "Oh, it was Jimmy," because they knew how everybody was going to feel about Jimmy, was going to make him look bad. You didn't hear that part? You forgot that part?
I probably didn't catch on. I probably didn't. But wow.
Yeah. Wow. Now you was just smoking too much while you was watching it. That's all.
Possibly.
Points.
That's a possibility, sir.
All right, fam. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you watching our inaugural episode. More to come when we feel like it.
1,000%. When I have time.
When we have time. Probably going to be talking about some 49ers coming up and how horrible we feel they did in free agency, and then we got coming up, but we'll see.
Yes, sir.
Right, catch y'all next time. But as y'all know, every day me and Cam, we out here hustling, we getting it done, but we also here.
Next time, fix your strings. Your strings is off lopsided. You see those strings? That's crazy. One's really long, other one's really short. You see that? You see mine? You see mine are even? Yeah.
Let me see how even yours are. Oh, okay. I mean, I'm even too. What are you talking about? Hold on. You're even too. What are you talking about? But the fact that you even noticed that my strings were uneven, like you need to find something else to do. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all on the next episode.
Peace.